Hi, this is Tony Sagami. Hey, the November elections are 2 months away, but already the rhetoric and the promises are getting pretty hot and heavy. You know, the Republicans and the Democrats are very busy painting each other as the bad guy, and if you listen carefully, you're going to hear some of them complain, and some of that bad guy language directed at the Chinese government regarding their currency policy. You know, our politicians are eager to blame anybody other than themselves for our slumping economy and our high unemployment rate, and one of the most convenient scapegoats to point their finger at is the Chinese. It is true that the Chinese has become a very global manufacturing power, and many of our manufacturing jobs have went over there. But the real question is what the politicians are going to do about this, and I think it's very likely that you're going to see some legislation come out directed toward the Chinese government and trade and barriers and tariffs. For example, here's a quote from the Democratic chairman of the Senate Ways and Means Committee, Sandra Levin. There is no real question that China's deliberately undervalued exchange rate is unfair and costs the United States jobs and economic growth. That's some pretty aggressive language. You know, the Senate Banking Committee is going to hold some hearings on this issue in the near future, and there's even some push by some of the key Democrats to include some legislation in the current stimulus bill to have some trade sanctions or barriers put upon China regarding its currency policy. The point of all of this is going to lead to a couple things. Number one, I think you'll ultimately see the Chinese yuan move much higher. It should be. It's currently undervalued, and China is taking slow baby steps to move its currency higher, but not fast enough to satisfy the American politicians. And at the same time, the mirror image of that is that the U.S. dollar is going to decline. So I think you have two very powerful long-term trends you should take a look at. And that is, one is that the Chinese yuan is going to appreciate and the U.S. dollar is going to depreciate. Now, if you agree with that premise, there's a couple funds, ETFs you take a look at. One is called the Merck Hard Currency Fund. Its ticker is MERKX. MERKX. That's the Merck Hard Currency Fund. It's essentially a money market fund, but of international money market funds. But it only holds the currencies of the most strongest countries in the world. And so that is a very popular place to profit from the falling dollar. The ticker on that is MERKX. Now also, if you wanted to bet directly on the Chinese yuan, you could take a look at the Wisdom Tree Chinese Yuan ETF. Ticker on that is CYB. And that is a direct play on the direction of the Chinese currency. If you think the yuan is going to move higher, like I do, this is a fund that you should take a look at. But listen carefully to the politicians. They're giving you some signs of where the dollar is going, and that is lower. And also, it's time to put that into your favor with one of these two funds. Until next week, this is Tony Sagami signing off.